Good afternoon everybody, and a very happy new year from me, JB, as our first live commentary of the new year is the third round of the FA Cup, and it's a proper FA Cup tie from Fleetwood Town, Highbury Stadium. It's Fleetwood against Leicester City. It was billed as the Jamie Vardy derby, but I can tell you straight away before kick-off that Jamie Vardy does not start. The kick-off's at 12:45. We're ready to go now for this FA Cup third round. Liverpool are through, having beaten Everton in a controversial Merseyside derby like last night, and Manchester United through goals from Jesse Lingard and Romelu Lukaku so off a plucky Derby County as well last night. This is the third tie of the weekend. The first of today's ties. There's about 25 of all, plus Leicester. What's up? Yeah. It's a bit cramped in here. We've just apologies there. We've just knocked the commentary desk, and there's coffee everywhere, and it's not what we wanted to do on the new year. But there we go. Never mind. But we are still live, and yes. Plus we'll have updates of Middlesbrough against Sunderland in an all north-east third round. There, early kick-off. They kick off in about less than half an hour's time, so we'll keep you up to date with what is happening in that one as well. So let's give you the team news for Fleetwood against Leicester. This is our live offering. We'll also have a full delayed commentary of another FA Cup tie. It certainly won't be Burnley against Manchester City. We were going to cover that, and I do have other things to do this afternoon, so it was best to give coverage, and we wanted to do a proper cup tie today. Here, anyway, this is the Fleetwood side. Neil in goal, and it's Coyle, Heaston, Bolger, Bell, Schwabel, Glendon, Dempsey, Burns, Hunter, and the man they're all talking about at the moment, Andy Cole's son, Devante Cole, top scorer for Fleetwood this season, and a really good side. And they've got a really good team going at the moment, but they are in the mid-table reaches of League One and really punching above their weight, considering they're a non-league team less than 2.5 to 3 years ago. As for Leicester, very much changed, but still a decent side, with Jakupovic in goal. Then it's Daniel Amartey, Dragovic, Bannerline, Ben Chilwell, Matty James, Andy King, Adrian Silva, who actually makes his first start for the club. Remember, he was the guy who they signed at the end of August, but missed the deadline by 14 minutes because he didn't get international clearance from UEFA or FIFA or whatever. Damari Gray, Soleimani will lead the line, and Barnes. And the two benches, very quickly, you've got for Fleetwood, Nathan Pond, Hawa Molinara, sorry about the pronunciation. There's a big crowd inside the Highbury Stadium. McAnally, Jones, Cairns, Biggins and Sowerby for Leicester. Decent bench this. Iheanacho, Mark Albrighton, Ben Hamer the goalkeeper, Harry Maguire, Shinji Okazaki, and Didi and Chowdhury. The referee today is Simon Hooper, and obviously Jamie Vardy isn't fit, and also no Bobby Grant for Fleetwood, and Paddy Madden is ineligible, having already played for Scunthorpe in this competition earlier this season, and Leicester themselves not clear of any injury problems themselves. Of course, Jamie Vardy is out today because of a groin problem, and so too Wes Morgan and Danny Simpson are ruled out. They're both have got hamstring injuries. We're looking forward to this game. It's going to be a cracking cup tie. I can't wait. I'm sure everybody in Highbury cannot wait as well. It's going to be a real proper blood and thunder cup tie this, and we're just waiting for the two teams to come out here. Well, Fleetwood Town, and the other thing is that Andy Pilley, the chairman, is now stuck on a cruise line. He tried to get flights back in time for today's game, but he couldn't obviously do it. So unfortunately that's the way it's panned out, but I'm sure he'll be near a television set somewhere on the cruise liner. What a blow for the chairman and the owner of the club, who's built it up from his own, and he's built Highbury Stadium. It's a cracking little ground, but it's not going to be an easy one for Leicester City as we await the teams. They've taken quite a number of fans with them up from the East Midlands, something like 1,500 have come up from Leicester, and this is the biggest game undoubtedly in Fleetwood's very recent history. It's the biggest opponents they've ever faced, and this really will be an unbelievable tie. The FA Cup as well in full view around the ground with the television people. We're still waiting for the two teams to emerge from the tunnel here at Highbury Stadium, but third round in the FA Cup always gets that shiver down one's spine. We saw Liverpool and Everton play out a dramatic and controversial Merseyside derby last night, and Virgil van Dijk, the stage was made for him to get that late winning goal to send them through. Jesse Lingard in great form, he carried that on in the FA Cup last night with a terrific goal against Derby County, and Lukaku came back from that horrible injury over Christmas and he got himself off the bench and scored himself to put Manchester United through. So there, those two teams guaranteed a place in the fourth round draw, which takes place I think on Monday, even if my memory serves me right. The teams are in the tunnel now. Well, certainly the Leicester players are. We're just waiting on Fleetwood here. This is a real true flavour of the FA Cup, this. This is what the FA Cup was invented for, days like this. And this is a proper cup tie. The minnows, you could say, Fleetwood, who had to play 2 extra rounds to get to this stage because they are in the bottom 2 tiers of the English Football League. And Leicester City who come in at this round, and it probably represents Leicester's realistic chances of winning a bit of silverware this season. They're out of the Carabao competition. They're in 8th place in the Premier League, and they know that the FA Cup represents their best chance of, or the more realistic chance of any silverware this season. And Claude Puel will not want an upset as Fleetwood step out here now. They're going to feel 10 feet tall, these Fleetwood players, when they go out into the tunnel in about 5 or 10 seconds from now. We're just waiting on the referee, Simon Hooper. But what an atmosphere this is going to be for Fleetwood Town. Who would have thought it? They have come up here from the Fylde coast. It's a very breezy afternoon. If you're not familiar with Fleetwood, incidentally, it's just north of Blackpool in deepest Lancashire, off the Fylde coast. And you've got some beautiful, it's a beautiful place, Fleetwood, if you've ever been. Famous for fishing, famous for its shopping outlet, of course, at Freeport. Terrific shopping outlet, and of course the football team, and they're stepping out here, and the crowd roar. A full house here at Highbury Stadium, and this is the biggest game undoubtedly in Fleetwood Town's history. The whole place is shaking, there's drums banging the lot, and I tell you something, it's a magnificent, it's a raucous atmosphere for this FA Cup third round in association with Emirates. Our coverage kicks off with this third round FA Cup tie. We saw Sutton United last year in our coverage knock out Leeds United. Can Fleetwood Town do the same to the Premier League champions of 2 years ago? It's a marvellous occasion. Well, they built it up as the Jamie Vardy derby. I can tell you he doesn't start because of a groin strain. But let's bring you the 2 lineups, shall we, for this afternoon's fixture. We're starting with Fleetwood Town, of course, and they've got Neil in goal for them. He'll play in goal, and then it's a back 4 of Coyle, Heaston, Bolger and Bell. And then it's a midfield 3 of Schwabel, Dempsey and Glendon. And they're going to go 4-3-3 with Burns, Cole and Hunter. Hunter and Burns on the either side of Devante Cole, son, of course, of Andy Cole. the former Manchester United and Newcastle man. Leicester City with Claude Puel with Jakubovic in goal for them. Then it's the back four of Marty, Dragovic, Banaloon and Chilwell. Then it's King, Silva and James. The midfield three, Gray and Barnes either side of Slimani, who leads the line up front. So both teams matching each other in formation. So we could see a very attack-minded game, and hopefully, touching some wood here, plenty of goals. Uwe Rosler, the current incumbent in the Fleetwood Town managership, shaking hands with his opposite number Claude Puel before the start of this match. A bright, sunny but very, very cold afternoon on the Fylde coast. That northwest wind blowing in. Here, just north of Blackpool. Referee today, Simon Hooper. And a great occasion this for Fleetwood Town. Never, ever have they ever played a top flight team until today. And they're going to enjoy it for all they're worth. Jamie Vardy and his family, Rebecca is there as well, fresh from her exploits in the Australian jungle before Christmas. But there's a lot of potential suitors for one man from the Fleetwood side. Devante Cole, top scorer this season, and he will be looking for this day as a shop window to try and write his name into FA Cup football. Scored in the last round incidentally against AFC Hereford, so he has scored in this competition so far this season. The pitch, I can tell you, is in absolutely superb condition. It's a wonderful surface, a great playing surface, well prepared for this cup tie, but the weather conditions may well make it a little bit trickier for the Leicester side, and Claude Puel knows that this is do win or bust really for their season in terms of trying to win silverware. This really represents their last major realistic chance of any possible silverware. So we're all set to go then. The FA Cup third round. Our coverage starts here at Highbury Stadium here on the Fylde coast. It's Fleetwood Town in red and white get us underway there, attacking the goal to our right. Leicester all in blue going towards the left, and already a chance here on the far side for Fleetwood, over on the far side. And the early cross comes in there towards Devante Cole. Header one, an easy one this time for the goalkeeper, which is Jakubovic, signed from Hull City. Burns got the header inside the penalty area, and in the end it didn't come to too much trouble really. It's a super atmosphere for this game. Just to remind you of the lineups: Neil, Coyle, Easton, Bolger, Bell, Schwabel, Glendon, Dempsey, Burns, Cole and Hunter for Fleetwood. For Leicester, Jakubovic, Chilwell, James, King, Adrian Silva, Gray, Slimani and Barnes. So plenty of great players on display still. Still a strong looking Leicester lineup, but they've conceded a throw here midway inside their own half. It's going to be a long throw here for Fleetwood. We played it just over a minute, and they tried to work something down the left hand side, but it's out of play on the far side, and it will be a Leicester City throw in, and Marty will take it over on the far side. Neil is the goalkeeper, and he may well be needed, and back with both teams are trading throw-ins on the far side of the field, and Leicester have rather wasted theirs, and Fleetwood get a second goal. Ball knocked forward by Fleetwood, headed away by Marty. I do apologise if I'm not too familiar. Here's a chance now for Burns on the midway inside the half, but he's lost it. Barnes is trying to get forward on halfway. Good tackle there by one of the Fleetwood defenders. Now Andy King has it on halfway for Leicester. Let's it back. As I say, conditions perfect, although there's quite a chilly wind in the air as Andy King knocks that long ball forward, looking towards Slimani, who's the lead striker today. There is Iheanacho on the bench. He hasn't had much of a look in since signing in the summer from Manchester City. Unless they get a throw level with the edge of the penalty area. Still, we've played about 2.5 minutes. Here's Damari Gray, loses out. Ball back again, a chance here now for Leicester to come forward once again. That looked a tackle from behind. It certainly was. Free kick to Leicester in a very good position. The foul there on Matty James, former Preston North End player. And the free kick for Leicester City, two-man committee, and it's going to be left here for Damari Gray to send that into the penalty area, flicked wide by Somani inside the 6-yard box, and the first real genuine chance of the cup tie falls to the Premier League side. And maybe Somani was a little bit casual with his finish. It didn't trouble the goalkeeper, it went wide of his far post. In fact, he just came off his knees, but it was a genuine chance. It was a lovely delivery from Damari Gray from the left-hand side, the far side as we look, and in the end, it didn't come to any fruition as far as Fleetwood were concerned, and no real damage as the long ball looking for Devante Cole. Chilwell hook it out and almost hits the cameraman. Hitting out the ground. It's a very small ground, Highbury. I think he's got a capacity of about maybe 4,000 to 6,000 on a good day. Coyle will take the throw on the near side, about 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. And he takes it short down the near side and wins another throw. Chilwell. Burns was there too, so Coyle will have a second opportunity to maybe launch it. No, he's gone short again. Flicked on towards Burns. Burns now by the byline. And again, Chilwell just knocks it into touch. Throw to Fleetwood, and they're buying some good yardage here up the field, and right on the edge of the Leicester box this throw in, and they take the throw. It's a good throw as well, hooked in towards Burns. Burns trying to flick it back towards Cole, who was on the edge of the penalty area. Fleetwood starting to get a foothold in the game. They've yielded a couple of set play opportunities from throw-ins and the like, but with 5 minutes gone, it's 0-0, and Somani's had the first genuine chance of this third round FA Cup tie. But Leicester are not going to have it easy here today. Chilwell will take their throw in, and they'll get it back again. I've got to say, it's a cracking atmosphere for an FA Cup tie. This, I have to say, it's they have as I say, the pitch is in magnificent condition. And the ball back again to Jakupovic in the, I only said Hull goal, but it's Leicester City, side from, of course, Hull. Here's Burns on the near side, the right hand side, but the throw conceded there. There's Jakupovic, the Leicester goalkeeper. Coming up to 6 minutes gone at Highbury, up on the far coast, not Highbury Stadium in London. That's long since gone, but another Highbury, which is this one in deepest Fleetwood, as Matty James finds Andy Keane inside the centre circle. Now the ball comes to Chilwell. Chilwell just plays it down the line, a little flick down the corner, but Barnes was a little bit showing his inexperience there a little bit, trying to flick it round the corner when there was absolutely nobody about, so just a little bit of inexperience there. Chilwell has it back for Leicester, deep inside his own half, and then the ball smuggled back to Jakupovic. And Leicester now starting to build slowly here from the back. Long ball forward up towards Slimani, who's missed the first genuine opportunity of the game. It's a cracking atmosphere for this tie. This is young Barnes, number 32. Real opportunity to see what he can try and do here. If you're hoping to see if Jamie Vardy was going to start, well, unfortunately, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but he's out through injury, and he won't be playing. This is Damari Gray on the, on Marty, sorry, on the right hand side. Cuts inside once more, and Leicester just playing some good possession football. Now Chilwell has it on the left hand side, Back in field it goes again, this time to Andy King. Been with the club since the dark days of the old, when they were in League One, of course. Leicester, and he's been there with the rise of the club, with Nigel Pearson and then Claudio Ranieri. And no one deserved a Premier League winners medal 2 years ago than he did, just for outstanding loyalty to his club. Coyle will take the throw for Fleetwood in red and white today. You could say they are in Arsenal colours, and they are playing with the same ground name as Arsenal used to have, of course. Arsenal Stadium used to be called Highbury. Well, what a chance there! Oh, it was almost an own goal! Oh, Jakubovic almost sailed down the river. It was Dragovic's appalling back pass, and Fleetwood almost given a gift here. One ball forward down the right, and what was Dragovic doing? And Jakubovic having to scramble back and somehow scooped the ball behind for a Fleetwood corner, but it could have easily been an own goal, and Fleetwood a priceless lead in the FA Cup third round. It's a corner to be taken by Glennon in towards the 6-yard line. Man free! Still mic drop here. Shot comes in, and it was very wayward. Still in play though inside the penalty area, and Leicester scramble it out. But Fleetwood now starting to show their prowess, and that will give them a little bit more confidence there. Well, let's have a look at that miscue again. Oh, well, Jakubovic first of all was out of his guard. I don't think he was expecting it, and I think he's got every right to feel a bit aggrieved there with his defender Dragovic, because he did almost sell him down the river. It would have been it would have been. Oh, it's a bit early to say. It would have been in one of Danny Baker's Christmas DVDs, I suppose, when next Christmas comes around later on in the year. But here come Leicester now, looking to try and get over this little scare with Chilwell. No foul there. Chilwell went down, but there was no appeal from him. Now a chance now for Fleetwood to break out here. Plenty in red and white. There's the shot deflected, and this time Hunter hit it well, but very tamely indeed. But Jakubovic was perfectly positioned behind the actual shot. No here in the FA Cup third round. The winners, of course, will go into the draw on Monday evening. It's the true verb and the true flavour of the FA Cup. As Leicester come forward, and the crossing from Barnes was a decent one, and it had to be snuggled behind for a corner. We're just under the cosh a little bit, which is a little bit of a worry for them at the present moment. So corner kick to Leicester City in the sunshine here at Highbury Stadium, as Damari Gray sends it in from the near side. Well taken there by the goalkeeper Neil, all decked out in yellow, fluorescent yellow, and it was a good confident catch there by the Fleetwood Town goalkeeper. Really was a good, firm, authoritative catch, as the long ball forward looking towards Hunter, Gray, Hunter, Burns or Cole, but it's straight to Jakubovic for Leicester. FA Cup third round. Just to remind you, the game, if it ends a draw, will not be settled today. There will be replays up until the fifth round, and then from the sixth round onwards it has to be decided on the day, whether it's extra time or penalties, but that doesn't come into force until the sixth round. And then there's the fourth substitute and possible AVA system, which has been used in the Carabao Cup, as we all found out, as Dragovic this time with a much more competent back pass gets it back to Jakupovic. Now a long ball from Dragovic, now looking towards the penalty area. Bolger winning that header very well. It's a throw to Fleetwood Town. Ruby Rosler will be sort of encouraged by the start that Fleetwood have made. I would have thought, as we come up towards 13 minutes gone. In fact, we're now past 13 minutes. And then free kick to Fleetwood, midway inside their own half, just to the left of the field, and it's taken by the goalkeeper Neil. Long kick forward. Still Devante Cole, scored in the last round of course against Terryford. It's actually saved them in the original game, and they had to go through a replay, of course, which they won down at Edgar Street. It wasn't the easiest place to go, and with the money they've generated from the cup run, it's enabled them to get 2 new faces into the club, which is good for Uwe Rosler, really, from the point of view that you need the bodies. And Fleetwood aren't, I mean, they've been bankrolled quite a lot by Andy Pearley, but obviously you've got to try and balance the books, and that's what Fleetwood have had to do, in line with most lower league clubs. Speculate to accumulate, if you like, as Eastham is down on his haunches at this moment in time. It was a tough campaigner though, Eastham. Coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone. As I say, if it ends a draw after 90 minutes, that's where it will end, and they'll have to go to the KP in a week and a half's time, as Eastham is being replaced by Nathan Pond, a bit of a stalwart here at the football club, played for them in the non-league days. And there's Jamie Vardy in the crowd, there's Rebecca Vardy next to him. My goodness, she had a fantastic time out in the Australian jungle in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Made a lot of headlines in the jungle, that, but really a real football, a real celebrity family now, the Vardys. But Jamie Vardy's come up the hard way. He came up from the non-league, came to this club, had a really good run, as we just seen Salami now injured, and so the game again has had to stop. Pond incidentally has taken over the captaincy. There's Jamie Vardy again, Rebecca to the left. He's got his little son there too. Rebecca is Mrs. wearing some very revealing jeans, showing her kneecaps. On a day like today, it's a day for your thermals, I think. It's good to see Jamie Vardy in the crowd. He's never forgotten where he came from, Vardy. He went to Leicester from here when they were a championship club. This is the injury that, I think there was a collision there between him and Nathan Pond originally, and I think that's what caused Soleimani to go down. I think he was holding his face. It showed a replay of the incident from the actual camera right behind the goal, which didn't reveal too much, if I'm being honest. I think they needed a much more closer angle than what they got, so apologies for that. But Eastham is offering an injury. We'll try and find out how serious that injury is as the afternoon develops. But this is our live FA Cup offering from the 3rd round, and so far we haven't had any goals to bring you at Highbury between Fleetwood and Leicester. Built as the Jamie Vardy derby, but he's not in the team because he didn't recover from a groin injury and he does not play. Free kick on halfway to Fleetwood. They take quickly, ball back again to Bolger, and he gets the ball back to Neil, defending the left hand end of the ground here. Very small ground, holds something like 4,000 to 5,000 people. There's a good 1,000 or so surely from the East Midlands cheering on the Premier League champions of 2 years ago, Leicester City. Long ball forward towards Devante Cole on the right, and he can't keep that in on the near side, and it will be a throw into Leicester City. The game's just died down a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit stop-start at the moment due to the injuries and one or two other things, but it's not been a bad watch. I think there'll be plenty of action. We've had a chance for either side. So Marnie for Leicester, and then almost an own goal by Dragovic. Now Fleetwood come crawling forward with Hunter. Hunter shoots on the edge of the penalty area with his right foot, but it's a very tame effort, and now he's injured himself. Well, it looked as if he was injured himself, but he just banged his fist down on the floor in frustration because he didn't get his shot off how he would have liked. It's right along the ground, and it was a very routine regulation take for Jakupovic. Just picked it off the floor. No problems there for the Leicester City goalkeeper. No Kasper Schmeichel in the 16. He's being rested. And I do understand the nuances that Premier League managers have with the crazy schedules they've had over Christmas and New Year, and especially somebody like Alan Pardew who had to play 2 games in 48 hours. But I still think that you're devaluing the competition as a chance here for Burns, but his cross is a bit poor from the right hand side. It's into the Leicester City fans, and it's out for a goal kick. Bit of a disappointing cross, really. But this is where they need to shine today. Television coverage as well of the game around the UK and around the world. The FA Cup, of course, for games, even for games like these, is a true worldwide spectacle, and Fleetwood are not just on the British stage today, they are on the world stage now. They are truly and simply now, with this one day, well and truly on the football map as regards big time football. League One side, and they've done really well to climb up the leagues, as the throw is taken by Coyle up towards Devante Cole on the right hand side, but pitched away there by Damari Gray. Then Chilwell gets that forward, coming up towards 20 minutes, on ball up towards Somani, but pondered well there for Fleetwood, and then it's tucked away by Bolger. And now a chance now for Burns to come forward at number 9. Into the centre circle he goes, and then he touches it back. Bolger again just comes forward, touches it on again to Bell. Bell down this side, down the left hand side I should say, trying to work it with Hunter. Wins a throw. Hunter takes the ball, finds Bell. Now Bell just knocks it into field, and Dempsey takes the ball back. 20 minutes gone. 39% possession Fleetwood, 61% to Leicester City. But you would have, but any right-minded football supporter would have expected that at the start. Leicester being the Premier League team and a much more accomplished side, with all due deference to Fleetwood Town. There's a 2-division gap between the two teams. As Fleetwood come again. They're giving it a good go though, to be fair. No foul there, so Fleetwood have a chance here to go on here with Devante Cole. Now Hunter, he might have to work it into that penalty area. It was a poor cross, and Andy King got it away, but Leicester have only conceded a throw on the edge of their own penalty area, which invites more pressure onto themselves here by Fleetwood. They really, I think if Fleetwood are to stand a chance of a shock here today, they have to get the first goal. Logic will dictate that, and history will dictate that. Not many lower league sides can come back from behind when trailing to a bigger team, although we have seen it down the years in the FA Cup. Hereford and Newcastle is 72, a prime example, when it looked as if Newcastle were running away with it by winning 1-0 at one stage, and Radford's Rocket and Ricky George seeing Hereford home all those years ago. Can Fleetwood create their own Ricky George and Ronnie Radford moments? But they've got to defend first, because Damari Gray's just kept that in on the near side, and still Damari Gray to the byline. What a good tackle that was from Coyle. Slid in, took the ball well on the edge of his, perilously close to the edge of his own penalty area, and he took the ball well, concedes a corner, and did very, very well. We're coming up towards the halfway mark of the first half here. Leicester have yielded a corner here. The first goal is going to be also important here, and the Cod Army behind that goal which Fleetwood are defending, are hoping it's not going to be them to concede the first goal, as Gray sends that in towards the near post, a flick on and over the top of the crossbar. Dragovic got the header, I think, inside the penalty area, and it's behind for a goal kick. So 0-0 is the score. In fact, it wasn't Dragovic, it was who was it? I'm just trying to pick out. It's Andy King who got the header in. I thought it was Dragovic initially. Hard to tell for a Forest of bodies. And the Konami, there's the drummer. Just seen the drummer there. Bang, bang, bang he goes. Trying to get an atmosphere whipped up which might unsettle the more illustrious Leicester City, who were Premier League champions just 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago. Long ball forward looking towards Hunter and Devante Cole, but it's with Jakupovic again for Leicester. Decent first half here after 23 minutes, but still no cigar as far as the goal scoring is concerned. But they have had an outstanding chance each, both Leicester and Fleetwood, but yet no goals. Well, taken short, headed away, and now Burns comes again on the chase, but it's knocked away once again, and they'll flick on, which will find Jakupovic once again. Apologies there for sound issues, but we are back with you live now. Nothing's happened whilst we were off, whilst we were forced off air, but all I can tell you is that still Leicester with a throw, with Chilwell taking the throw, and he gets it back again from Matty James, crosses into the penalty area. Slimani trying to turn inside the penalty area. It'll come here for Adrian Silva, the man who missed out on signing in August by 14 minutes because of some mess up in the international clearance from FIFA. Leicester in fact did appeal that, but the appeal fell on deaf ears, unfortunately. 27 minutes gone. You've not missed anything really. No goals yet in the first of the FA Cup games. We'll try and bring you any scores from the other game between Middlesbrough and Sunderland, an all championship affair. That's a lovely shot from the television drone there, and you can just see the Fylde coast there. There's a great atmosphere. You can tell we're by the seaside, and we get a throw in. Dragovic, who has had a bit of a mixed bag so far in this opening 28 minutes here in the third round of the FA Cup, sponsored of course by Emirates. Remember, Manchester United went through against Derby County at Old Trafford last night. Liverpool won the Merseyside derby. Virgil van Dijk starting to pay off a little bit of that £75 million that Jurgen Klopp paid Southampton for him, with the winning goal that sent them packing at the expense of Big Sam Allardyce's Everton. Jamie Vardy looking on nonchalantly. There's Rebecca Vardy. I still think those jeans aren't made for winter though, Rebecca. Maybe you need to look at your wardrobe again. Anyway, back with the game, and it's still a chance here. Devante Cole now. He just tried to do too much. Maybe he should have shot on the edge of the area when I think he had the chance there. Devante Cole, he's certainly got the capabilities. He's not the top scorer at Fleetwood for nothing, Devante Cole. He's got the same sort of scoring instincts as his father used to have in his Newcastle and Manchester United days, and he is trying to lay it towards Burns, but Burns' first touch was heavy. Chilwell shields the ball and allows Jakubovic to slide in and take the ball, pluck it off the ground, and relieve some danger for Leicester City. Coming up to half an hour gone then at Highbury Stadium here in the Fylde Coast in Fleetwood, just north of Blackpool. If you don't know, if you're not familiar around the world with the Fylde area, you've got Lyndon St Anne's south, further south, then you go through Thornton, Cleveland, then Blackpool itself, and then Fleetwood far north. And as Damari Gray comes down the Leicester City left hand side, crosses in towards the penalty area. They're attacking the end where the actual coast is, about half a mile from the sea, this particular ground. Still 0-0. Here's Andy King. King takes it into the penalty area. Solani's there. It comes to Damari Gray inside the penalty area. Damari Gray shoots it to the side netting. Very acute angle, to be fair. I think he got a nick on the way through. It will be a Leicester City corner. Half an hour gone. Fleetwood 0, Leicester City 0 in the third round of the FA Cup in association with the Emirates Airline. And here on the JB Claret YouTube channel, our second season covering this world famous competition. Covered some huge shocks last year. Are we going to see one here today? Damari Gray's corner headed out. Bolger with a header that time. Very well sun there. A lot of the supporters there shielding their eyes with their hands to see properly the game. Matty James in towards Silva. Silva plays it out, and now a chance here for Dragovic to come forward, I think, and then the ball lifted in. Still not away properly. Damari Gray shoots on the turn, hits Nathan Pond, the substitute, and it comes away now. Chance here for Fleetwood to counter-attack here with Burns on the near side. Burns knocks it infield. Chance here for Dempsey. Dempsey knocks it onto Cole. Gets it back from Dempsey. Good 1-2 played there by the Fleetwood players, and then Hunter rather stupidly loses possession when Fleetwood had a very good situation going there, and the attack is broken down, and now the ball back is with Jakubovic. Well, the game has sort of, well, it hasn't lived up to what we thought it might be. Formations, and maybe they're cancelling each other out in terms of formation, I just don't know. But I think something has to give. Once I think the second half may well give us a few clues as regards how the game may well pan out. You know, it's quite often you see not a great first half, but then the second half just comes to the surface, really. Claude Perel he's had a good return. Leicester was struggling under Shakespeare at the start of the season, then the owners sacked him 3 months into his permanent tenure as manager. Claude Perel was not universally a very good choice at first, but since then, since he took over, he's overseen a very good improvement side that are 8th in the table, just 3 or 4 points behind my team Burnley in the Premier League table. So they've recovered remarkably well in terms of getting back into business, really. As Gray plays that round the corner now, King towards the edge of the penalty area, plays it inside towards Somali with the gloves on. Now a chance here for Silva again, he's got gloves on. They're very soft, these Leicester City players. Do they not enjoy the cold? They hope to get used to it. They are playing in this country. Here's Somali again. And now the ball back again. Here's Dragovic. It was Dragovic now trying to get something going here for Leicester. 0-0. Now Banalan. He was the man actually that nearly put through the own goal actually. I got mixed up in the excitement of it all. Still no breakthrough here at Highbury Stadium here in Fleetwood, as Fleetwood tried to attack down that right hand side. One ball forward looking towards Slimani. He might well struggle to keep it in. In fact, he hasn't kept it in play, and it will be a throw in to Fleetwood. And Uwe Rosler will be, I think, much the happier of the two managers as we come up towards the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time of the first period. And we'll take our usual 5 to 10 minute break to catch our breath, get a bit of refreshment, a bit of fluids into our bodies for the second half. I think this FA Cup tie really still has to come to life. It's not been the best game to watch, I have to say, in terms of real entertainment. But what we have seen today, as Leicester have a free kick midway inside the Fleetwood half, is the commitment and the commitment has always been there from both teams. There's no doubt about that. But we just need a breakthrough, get the game. It just needs a goal, you feel. And will we see one in the next 10 minutes? We'll just have to wait and see. Chilwell leaves it, and it's Gray lifting it in towards the penalty area, header back, and that was dangerous. Then the volley back in by Barnes, and the youngster hits it into the corner behind the goal, and it's a goal kick. Poor header away from Devante Cole of all people, and then just wide. Still 0-0. 2 shots on target actually to Fleetwood. Leicester have the 2 shots they've had on target. Fleetwood, in fact, have been very tame shots from Hunter. So Arnie has come closest for Leicester so far. That was in the opening exchanges of the game, but nothing really to write home about really this first half. But as always, I mean, it's history dictates that you have a drab and dull first half. And then you have a really good second half. Let's hope the second half, if it does end 0-0 at the end of the first, let's hope the second half has a really good feel to it as well. One ball forward, Bolger winning the header. Remember, Easton was having to be went off with an injury, wasn't stretchered off, limped off as Burns goes down this near side here for Fleetwood. Burns just holds the play up, looks for support, and there's a bit of a naughty challenge there. on Schwabel on a free kick to Fleetwood, and in fact can't tell who that is. It's Silver, I think, and he's injured now. This could be in making that tackle, that late tackle, and he doesn't look too good, I have to say. He's holding his face. I think this could be a very nasty one. He went to make the tackle, he didn't get there, and now he's injured himself in the process. The trainer and the physio are down assessing the player, and he didn't look in any. He did look a little bit in agony. He looked that way. It was a committed challenge. You're not going to get pussies or pansies down in League One. They're very committed footballers. 38 minutes gone. Fleetwood have a free kick, but Silver being attended to, and Claude Puel, the last thing he would want is to see Silver stretch enough on his made his debut at the start of the year. Had to wait 4 months to start for Leicester, or to play for Leicester, and he doesn't want to lose his chance here for injury, and he's hobbling quite gingerly there as we come up towards the closing stages of this first half. Fleetwood 0, Leicester City 0 in the third round of the FA Cup, sponsored of course by Emirates. Man City Burnley will be 3 o'clock, and hopefully my team will do themselves a bit of justice, although Sean Dyche has said, as the free kick comes in, we'll just break off for a second. Sean Dyche has sort of come out and said that league survival is the key. I find that rather strange, to be quite honest with you. With Burnley on 34 points at the turn of the year, I just don't think it's the right thing to do. But there you go. This is what Sean Dyche had to say. We've got a breaking play here whilst we're doing this, and Jakubovic has taken the kick. Still 0-0. This is what Sean Dyche has had to say. I think this is a little bit it's a little bit of a disrespectful for the FA Cup, as the ball's nodded back towards Neil. That's what Sean Dyche had to say about it. There's an offside flag up. He says there's a number of clubs, including ourselves, vying to stay in the Premier League, and that just take precedence. But I don't see it as a shame, just a reality. I love the cup, but there has to be a pure business plan of staying in the Premier League and growing the club. But that's not, to me, that's showing a little bit of lack of ambition. Now, Sean Dyche has done brilliantly for the Clarets in the 5 years he's been there, but have a go. At least go there. Let's not go out. I don't want to see the Clarets go out today and cowardly wave the white flag, and they'll never forgive themselves if they do that, and they'll lose a little bit of credibility. Meanwhile, back in the game we're actually covering, Fleetwood have won a free kick foul on Devante Cole. Can he get himself involved there? Silly foul from Marty here, just backing into him. Cole holding up the play well. In fact, it wasn't, it was Barnes going in as well, so it was both, you could say, Amati and Barnes. So Bolger and Nathan Pod will come forward from the back. Can Fleetwood strike a blow here in the last 4 minutes of the first half? And it's a decent free kick as well. And then the shot comes in, and in the end Coyle got it unbelievably wrong. Went to hit it from something like 25 yards out with his right foot, and he badly sliced it almost out of the ground and into the sea for a goal kick. But I mean, there's not much cloud in the sky. It's a lovely sunlit winter's afternoon here, as we see Chilwell on the near side for Leicester. Wins a corner off Coyle. It's a corner to Leicester City. 1 goal now before half time could be so crucial in the destiny of where this time may well end up come end of this afternoon. 3 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Fleetwood have done well to hang in there, hang in the contest, and they've been quite comfortable so far. But here's Damari Gray, one with the quality, could still sink Fleetwood here before half time. The Cod Army have won a free kick. They've survived that particular onslaught from Leicester, who haven't registered at the moment not even one shot on target, and that will displease Claude Puel entirely, because they are the red hot favourites in this tie. There's no doubt about that. Fleetwood are definite underdogs, and at the moment the underdogs have really shown and really taken it to their more illustrious opponents, and fair play to Fleetwood. They've done really well. They've done their homework and have kept Leicester at bay. Remember, if it ends a draw after 90 minutes today, there will be no extra time, no penalties. We'll have a replay in a week and a half's time. There's the mascot, suitably decked out. Looks like Jaws to me. It's still 0-0. But that's the fun and the flavour of the FA Cup. We commentate on the Premier League week in, week out, and we say it's like the best league in the world, but for proper football fans and for proper football entirely, you cannot beat the flavour and the verve of the FA Cup. It's the one competition where the underdog can really and truly have its day. As Lincoln and Sutton, they had their days in the sun in last year's competition. Sutton beating Leeds in the game that we covered, and then Lincoln going one better in the 5th round, knocking out my team Burnley quite deservedly when you look back at it, 1-0, and Sean Raggett bagged himself and moved to the Championship on the back of that headed goal at Turf Moor. He went on to the Emirates and bravely lost 6-0 to Arsenal, who went on to win the Cup last year. They start their defence incidentally at Nottingham Forest tomorrow afternoon, and that'll be one of our delayed games from the 3rd round, and that'll be a delayed commentary from the City Ground. So Nottingham Forest Arsenal will be our second but delayed commentary of Cup weekend. Here's a chance here now down the near side for Coyle. Can he huff that ball in? He got away from Damari Gray's advances. Not easy to do because Gray is possessed with a lot of pace. Only half cleared the clearance. Still a chance in there for Fleetwood if they could just get a break here. We're inside the last minute, 15 seconds of normal time here at the end of the first half, and then it'll be down to the 4th official to see how much longer we'll add on at the end of the first half. I don't think there'll be too much stoppages, maybe a couple of minutes perhaps for the injury to Eastham, and of course there was a little bit of a minute or two for Silver's treatment. We have 2 minutes. I thought it might be 2 minutes just because of the 2 injuries more than anything else. It's a throw given as Bo nods that out, but it's Leicester City coming forward with Martin now. Real opportunity here for Leicester to try and take advantage in those 2 minutes. Shot comes in and deflects. It will be another corner. Matty James, or Barnes rather, with the shot, sorry. So we played halfway through the first of the 2 additional minutes at the end, and then after the end of the 2 minutes it will be down to referee Hooper's discretion how much longer he may want to add further on. Damari Gray going across the far side to take the corner. So we're halfway through those, a minimum of 2 minutes. I should stress that as somebody tries to volley it goalwards. A little bit of a scramble, and Fleetwood just hack it as far up the field as they can, and they might just get something here on the break here as Hunter goes forward. But Chilwell does well. Good covering there by Ben Chilwell for Leicester City, and it was a real hair scaring moment there for the Con Army. There was a pinball machine scramble, and in the end it was just banged away. It's a lovely corner here from Damari Gray. Somani banging it goalwards, and I think it was one of the defenders. I think it was Nathan Pond that had gone down. No, it wasn't. It was Bell, in fact. It was a half a shot possibly for handball by Somani, but no one else had appealed. Almost like cricket style, LBW style. 15 seconds of the allotted 2 minutes, but it's just, as I say, it's a minimum of, as that ball's out of play and almost down the tunnel, which the players will be going down in something like 4 or 5 seconds from now. Referee looks at his watch, and there we are. We have played 2 minutes, and that's it. So, not been the best of first halves, but Fleetwood have worked hard. They forced a couple of shots on target. Hunter with one tame effort that went along the ground. So Marley's gone close for Leicester, but they haven't registered as yet a single shot at target, and that will please Uwe Rosler. And if I was one of the two managers, I think I'd be the more happier I would say would be Uwe Rosler, certainly over Claude Puel, because Leicester as an attacking force really haven't stepped up to the plate yet in this first 45 minutes. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back with full second half commentary of the first of today's FA Cup games. Who will get through today and join Manchester United and Liverpool so far in the third round of the FA Cup? Well, time will tell, but a very cold afternoon here on the Fylde coast, and the wind is certainly blowing, but very disappointed first half, but Fleetwood certainly having the better things. We're going to take a 5-minute break to chill out and refresh ourselves with the scoreline here in the third round of the FA Cups in association with Emirates. Fleetwood 0, Leicester City 0. Welcome back to Highbury Stadium here in the deepest file coast, just outside Blackpool, where Fleetwood Town are holding Leicester City 0-0 in our live commentary offering. There have been 2 FA Cup ties played over the last night, and we're going to give you some commentary highlights of one of them. It was the Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool, built up as the tie of the round. This is what happened with Guy Mowbray and Martin Keown in the commentary box.
There is no line, and it's waiting to Mowbray, and a penalty's been given. Oh, they're going to shut away anyway and missed, but Burnley made up his mind that Lallana had been fouled, and Liverpool get the chance from the spot to take the lead. Liverpool captain tonight, Liverpool goal scorer tonight. It is his first goal of the season, and the first strike of the FA Cup third round goes to Jurgen Klopp's Reds. First part penalty. What a great touch that from Pickford, and look how quickly Firmino is across. And Firmino is then pushed into the side by Mason Holgate, and Firmino has reacted, and Bobby Madley had to get in the way of it all, and we have the first big flashpoint of the Merseyside derby. Schneiderlin's pushing Mason Holgate away, and I think Everton players are angry with their own player as much as anything here. Also, I think his reaction, it looks like Holgate's completely lost his head as well as Firmino. Was the push the only thing that was needing to be sorted out here? In from Milner. Robertson does well. Pickford parries, and Holgate gets it away. Van Dijk times his run. He's looking to get onto that. He might do. He has done. Straight at Pickford though. Really should be doing better with that. Well, they let it go. Wasn't the best of corners. It nearly worked for Liverpool. Now Everton break. It's Lookman. Can he get it over? Lookman does. Jagielka plays it back, and Sigurdsson scores! An Everton breakaway and an Everton goal. Out of nothing. It's the Blue Arrows now, isn't it? They play them at their own game. It's just totally against the run of play. Sigurdsson there. We just talked about Virgil van Dijk, the way he motors out of defence, and it was Phil Jagielka who was leading the Everton charge. What on earth is he doing up there? You can't believe it. It's a decent looking corner. Pickford didn't get it. Van Dijk did. Liverpool are go again. Virgil van Dijk on debut. Well, it's those two linking up again. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Van Dijk. On his debut, the top end. You can't ask for more. Come up the hour, come up the man.
And that was the story of last night's thrilling FA Cup tie between the 2 Merseyside rivals. Very controversial. A penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, if I'm being totally honest, but it was given. And Virgil van Dijk, absolutely superb, and great performance from them. Another game that took place last night was Manchester United. They were playing Championship side Derby County, who had actually been on a pretty good run at that particular moment in time. Let's see let's go and find out what happened there in just a second, but going back to the Liverpool game, that was A real stunning cup tie that just had everything in it, and it was just marvellous to watch. Anyway, let's take some commentary highlights from last night's game at Old Trafford, and your commentator, Martin Fisher.
Rashford got through one challenge away from the second. Real venom in the shot, but couldn't control it. Carson still not tested the Derby goal, but the closest United have come so far. Mata or Herrera. It will be Mata, and it's brilliantly saved by Carson. It's a clever ball. Russell through in the box for Derby, and the header is a good one from Olsen. The left back with it. Romero had to tip it over. In goes the cross, and Rashford against the post. Smalling, and Derby going to block it. Marcus Rashford there, a lick of paint away from giving Manchester United the lead. Pogba for United. Oh, and Carson with an even better save that time. Here's Mata in the box. Still for United's way. Chance for a shot for Juan Mata. Beaten away by Carson. In goes Lukaku. Olsen in the way. Now it's Pogba. Pogba wide. Derby putting their bodies on the line to keep United out. Lawrence with the shots, and Romero forces it wide. Well, that's what Lawrence had the chance to do first half, decided not to. Romero not that convincing with his stop here. It's Herrera, on to Lingard. Lingard on again. It's Rashford against the post. He's hit the woodwork again. Is it going to be one of those nights? Come away with it. He's found Lingard in the box, and Lingard finds the hands of Carson, and Pogba well wide with the goal gaping. What a chance for the captain. Lukaku, Lingard, good hit. Oh, what a goal! He's done it again. Jesse Lingard, magnificent strike. It roared past Scott Carson and finds the top corner. Carsten's been in such terrific form tonight. It needed something special to beat him, and Jesse Lingard provides that something special. Manchester United 1, Derby County 0. Ford is in the box, 1 of 3 in Derby shirts. That was Thorne's header. It's dropped here for Vyman. Can he turn and get the shot away? Within the first part of the equation. United clear towards Lukaku, who steps inside. Keogh, he's got Martial in support to his left. Martial back for Lukaku to settle it up, and he does. The shot too strong for Carson to keep it out. United have the gloss of a second goal and safe passage into round 4 of the FA Cup.
And that was the way it finished, and there we are. The teams are back out for the second half, and no goals in this one for us to bring you so far, but there were some highlights of last night's games. Now it's back to this afternoon. Middlesbrough winning against Sunderland, winning by 1-0. So we're all set to restart this second half in just a second. They're just coming out onto the field as we speak, and yes, a great performance there. Looked for a long time at Old Trafford last night as if Manchester United weren't going to break Derby County down, but Jesse Lingard, I have to say, I'm not one of his biggest fans, but he's coming in with the goods when it matters as far as striking is concerned. And we've got a new subscriber. Roman Time is a new follower, so thank you very much indeed for following me. There'll be plenty more. These came from FA Cup commentaries, Carabao Cup commentaries, Champions League last 16. We'll concentrate more on the Champions League in February, then the World Cup, Premier League, climax of the Premier League, if there is to be a climax. It might be at the wrong end of the table as far as that's concerned, because it looks as if Manchester City have wrapped up the title even at this early stage. No substitutions during the half-time interval, and of course the World Cup as well to come. So all 2018, make it your year, make it with us here on the JB Collect YouTube channel, as we're about to get underway in the second half of this third round Emirates FA Cup tie here at Highbury between Fleetwood and Leicester City. 0-0 as we get this second half underway. Full match commentary and full second half commentary coming up for you right now, as well, hopefully we'll get some reaction from this afternoon's action as Dragovic now takes an early touch of the second half. Gets his head up, knocks a long ball up towards the far side. 0-0 is the score. But Fleetwood have kept Leicester at a premium. Corporal will probably have the air dryer out at half time. No doubt about that. His attack has really been very powder puff. Not one single shot on goal at this moment in time, which tells you really what you need to know about how shot shy Leicester have really been in this tie, really, as the Pod hooks it forward, but taken out of the air quite superbly by Matty James, who's not getting too many chances these days, but certainly when he comes into the team he doesn't do a bad job for Leicester City. I think he's a very good side. Just we'll remind you of the two teams in just a second as Fleetwood come again. So it's nearly goal. Bell, Boljet, Pond and Coyle across the back, and then it's Glendon, Dempsey and Schwabel across the midfield, green midfield, and it's Hunter, Cole and Burns up front. For Leicester City they've got Jakupovic of course in goal. They're playing also 4-3-3, so they're going to have a back four as things stand of Charwell, Badayon, who almost put through his own goal, Dragovic and Amati, James Silver and King the midfield three, and the attacking trio of Barnes, Salmani and Damari Gray, yet to yield any reward for Claude Puel. About 2 minutes of the second half gone, and it's again a little stop-start this second half. Ball towards Jakupovic. Fleetwood have had 2 shots on target, but they've not exactly been well-beating shots on target. Not been the greatest of first half, so let's hope the second half certainly improves the standard of the game. There's always going to be nerves about, as they'll always charge it down, but the ball will run out of play, and a goal kick in the end. A little bit of naivety there by the goalkeeper Neil, trying to kick the ball. It came off a Leicester City man and into touch. I think Nathan Pong should have taken control of the situation and tried to boot it into Rosehead himself, instead of leaving it to his goalkeeper. A little bit of an unprofessional, a little bit of a mix-up there from Fleetwood. We haven't had too many chances to say that, because they've been very well organised, especially Nathan Pond fitted in when Eastham had to go off after a quarter of an hour. Fleetwood attacking the goal to our left, towards the where the sea is. Fleetwood, very famous for being a fishing town on the outskirts of Blackpool, but both Fleetwood and Blackpool are in the same division. I know Fleetwood were above Blackpool last year, because Blackpool had been demoted to League 2 for a season and won promotion by the playoffs last year. There's still a lot of murmurs about the Oyston family as well. They're looking to a buyer. William O'Connor's won his High Court battle against the Oystons, and if he can get some stability at that football club at Bloomfield Road, I think Blackpool could come back and get into the top 2 divisions. There's little no doubt about that. They're a good little club. They've got a rich history. 1953 Matthews final. Stories in these parts are a legend, of course. They say it was the Matthews final, but the real hero that day was Stan Mortensen. He got a hat-trick in that final against Bolton Wanderers, but it goes down in history as the Matthews final, because Stanley Matthews won a Cup Winners' Medal after trying a couple of times before and failing. So yeah, but it was Stan Mortensen who was the real hero in the actual game. But one of the best finals ever played. And if there's any younger listeners wondering, want to know more about that final, ask your granddads or your grandpas who were maybe Blackpool, maybe a Blackpool fan or a football fan in those days. Meanwhile, back in the present day, Burns has won Fleetwood a corner here. We know about Blackpool's cup history. Can Fleetwood create some FA Cup history of their own? Bolger up from the back, so too is Nathan Pond, who's been there when they were in the non-league. Look at the Con Armour, they're absolutely loving it behind that goal where Fleetwood are attacking now. Can they have some cheer towards Pond? Bolger went up for the header, completely missed the ball completely, but it was a free header practically for Bolger to try and go at the end, and he almost got there. Would have been a great opportunity there for Fleetwood if they could have managed that. Low kick forward by Neil, they get the ball back, headed away by Dragovic, and then James helps it on, looking to find number 32, which is Barnes. But now a chance here for Dempsey to break forward. Now Bell back to Dempsey, midway inside in the centre circle, I should say. Not midway inside, it is midway inside the Fleetwood half, but it's with play from Pond, and he gets it over halfway line, and in fact forces a mistake from Chilwell, and it's a throw halfway now inside the Leicester City half. Oh, the ironies. 6 minutes gone in the second half, 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and still 0-0, but there's a great atmosphere being whipped up in the left hand stand behind Jakubowic's goal, which might tip the balance really. With the more raucous atmosphere, the more Leicester may well start to crumble. But here is Slimani, but he's illegally fouled Nathan Pond. He's absolutely frustrated, and I think if he's not careful, I think Simon Hooper may well have to talk to him and maybe book him for dissent. You can't get away with that. Completely backs into Pond. I don't think he's got any excuse whatsoever, Slimani. He can complain and moan all he wants, but the evidence is overwhelming. He's backed into Nathan Pond, and that's a free kick. The letter of the law. So the Premier League champions of 2 seasons ago really up against it here on the Fylde coast, as Fleetwood again try and work another set piece, but again Leicester have enough strength back to deal with it. Now they have a chance to break themselves through Matty James. He finds Barnes, who's got a chance here running through the middle. Oh, good tackle there. I thought that was an excellent tackle there. Fantastic tackle. It looks as if someone was going to break, and then I think it was Bolger or Pond, I think, one of the two, getting back there and just swiping the ball away from Silva as he was looking to go through one-on-one with Neil in the Fleetwood goal. That was a really good piece of defending there, and it keeps Fleetwood well and truly in the game. Fleetwood want the throw. They're not happy. I think it's a free kick they're giving to Leicester, and the referee Hooper has allowed them to get on with it quickly here. It's grey now for Leicester, far side, their left hand side. Now Banaluni gets it forward towards Barnes. Barnes again a little bit inexperienced and showing it there a little bit, but getting lucky. Here's Dragovic, gets it forward here. Now a chance for Matty James, and away quite confidently there by young Bolger for a throw, but level with the edge of the Fleetwood penalty area to Leicester. And Marty takes it short to James, back to Marty again, and Marty cuts in from the right, fends off 2 challenges from Fleetwood players. Now the ball's out on the left hand side now, and Andy King takes possession on halfway line on the left hand side, chips the ball in towards Solani, who flicks that on, and that will be a goal kick. A goal kick to Fleetwood, and I think so far, if you were the happier team, I think Fleetwood would be the more happier. They've kept Leicester chances at a premium. Yes, Leicester were always going to have more possession and more of the play. Jamie Vardy and Rebecca, who's taken a seat to the right of Jamie Vardy. She was to the left in the first half. Well, Jamie will have divided loyalties. He will want his current team to get through, but I'm sure he'll by the same token want to see Fleetwood produce a good shot, because at the end of the day you can't forget the combo. Hunter has done terrifically well. He's sold on Marty and dummy. He's nutmegged him superbly. He's gone down the right. It's a great run. Hunter across the face, and it's just been scrambled wide. I think Benayoun got back. Benalini got back there and looked, to all intents and purposes, as Damari Cole was going to get on the end of it. But that's the first time we've seen Hunter explode down that near side. Cuts in from the left. Gets away from Dragovic, and almost an own goal in fact, but Fleetwood so close and very unlucky, but they still have a chance here. Are they sensing blood here, the COD Army? Is it going to be Leicester going to be their catch of the day? Here's the corner, in from the near side, and it's heading away, but he'll come out again. The ball in fact will go out of play. Well left there by Bell, but the COD Army are still very much alive in this tie and are showing real attacking intent. They're not here for a replay. They're not going to try and go for a replay. They're going to try and win this in one go, the underdogs, and they're certainly having a good go. You can't fault them for that. I think they've been, if you look at the game over this period, I think they've been much the better team. Pond just hooking it away when he was on the floor, sliding in and just hooking it away. I think the cup tie is starting to come to life now after 56 minutes. We've had just over 11 minutes of the second half gone here. And deep was fouled. This is the opportunity here. There's the cross. And well, there was maybe a little hint of handball, but on another day that could have easily been an own goal. But Devante Cole was making a terrific burst, and I'll tell you what, if he hadn't got there, Cole certainly would have gone there, and I think it would have been certainly a goal for Fleetwood. Meanwhile, substitution for Leicester. Barnes, who's not done well for me, is coming off, and the experienced and consistent Mark Albrighton comes on. Got himself a goal on New Year's Day. In fact, Shinji Okazaki is also there. He's another Mr. Consistency player. Silva has lasted 57 minutes as well. So obviously Claude Puel isn't very happy with his attacking options, so he's decided to throw two fresh players on in the hope of trying to get Leicester through to the next round of the FA Cup, where they could join Manchester United and Liverpool in the hat for the fourth round, which takes place, memory serves me right, on Monday. Let's hope they don't hold it from the top of BT Tower this year. Anyway, here's the corner. Here's a chance here for Fleetwood. They've got a corner off Chilwell, who's hurt himself. Are we going to see a goal here in this game? Offering at the moment. Chilwell there. You can just see the pitch is actually quite sanded as well in certain areas. But apart from that, it's looking extremely good, Nick. Now we've got flares, all sorts going on in that stand behind Jakupovic's goal. They are a noisy lot behind that goal. Bolger and Pond forward from the back. Is there something in this for Fleetwood? It would be a great moment for the COD Army. Here comes the corner in towards Pond, and Bolger with a header from around about the penalty spot, but he heads it wide of the far post, and it's a goal kick to Leicester City. It's a good corner again. Free header again. Bolger's having a bit of joy there. Away from his challenger there, Bananani, and that was not very good defending by him. And here comes Burns again on the far side. Burns running at Benayoun again and gets the cross, and it's a deflection, another corner. Leicester City on the back foot here. Fleetwood really having a good go here in this FA Cup third round. This is what the FA Cup is all about. A smaller team really taking it to the big team. They're going for the cutthroat here, Fleetwood. Can they make this opportunity count? Are we going to see a cup shock on third round day? Burns to take the corner from the far side. Bolger again forward. He came close with a header a minute or two ago. Towards Bolger this time, but Leicester a bit more casual defensively. Shot comes in, and it was Schwabel with the shot with his right foot, and he hit that with some power, but it was straight at Jakupovic, who caught it very well in his midriff. Not great defending, it has to be said, by Ben Chilwell, and he could have been punished. And now here's a chance here for Hunter off Albrighton. They've got another corner here, Fleetwood, they're really turning up the pressure, cranking up the power here, because they know a goal here would send this stadium into raptures. Bolger and Pond are forward. You can take bets off them staying back. They're staying forward. Now then, what's Glendon got in his locker? This needs to be a good delivery. Bolger will be lurking inside the 6-yard area. Still not away yet. Header one and just wide from Schwabel. He's had a couple of opportunities in the space of 90 seconds, the midfield player. And I think if he hit I think it would have asked a lot to score from there. There were men on the line, in fairness. But he had to head it goalwards. Against Salmani with a poor header. I don't think he would have tried scored even if he'd have been on target, because Andy King would have been perfectly positioned to hook it off the line anyway. Headed back again with interest. Tamanti Cole's gone down midway inside the midway inside the Leicester half, but the referee hasn't given anything, and the ball is with Jakubovic. But Fleetwood sent in a real catch of the day here, if you pardon the pun, on the far coast. Fleetwood, of course, famous for its fishing and its trawlers and things like that back in the day. A long ball forward, but that's out of play. Not going to be kept in by Shinji Okazaki. But Fleetwood having a good go here in this second half. They've certainly had the better of things in this opening quarter of an hour of the second half. 61 and a bit minutes. And Neil with the goal kick. Kicks away all in yellow, fluorescent yellow here. And a long ball hooked forward again. And a header back towards the keeper, who's had a marvellous game. Well, he's not had much to do, to be fair, the goalkeeper Neil. But what he has had to do, he's done it with a minimum of fuss, and he's done it very consistently. He's kicked on almost finding Tamanti Cole, number 44. Son, of course, need I tell you of Andrew Cole, who used to play for Manchester United and Newcastle, part of the treble-winning Man United side of 1999 when they won the Premier League, FA Cup and Champions League, all in the space of 7 days. And they beat Tottenham to win the league, beat Newcastle in the FA Cup final, and then 4 days later winning the European Cup as well. 50-50 now, there's the possession. Interesting stats here. So we're now going to the final, as we're now well into the final half an hour here at Highbury. 0-0 between Fleetwood and Leicester in the third round of the FA Cup in association with the Emirates. This is the Emirates Airline who is sponsoring the FA Cup. This is the third tie of the weekend. Middlesbrough winning at the moment against Sunderland, so they could be joining Manchester United in the hat as well. If it was to end a draw, there would be a replay and both teams would actually go into the hat for the draw that takes place on Monday. Martin now knocking it back to Dragovic, who in turn gets it back to Jakubovic. He kicks long and high, but it doesn't reach halfway. It wasn't the best kick, but Okazaki's made something of it. Now Albrighton knocks it long and forward, but Nathan Pond is there, and surely now Bell can get it away for Fleetwood Town. Okazaki sticking close to him like super glue. Doesn't get enough credit to me. Shinji Okazaki is a real workaholic. He really is, the Japanese guy. Absolutely superb. Very underrated player, Shinji Okazaki, in my opinion. As the ball goes back, Jakubovic once again. Going up towards the last 25 minutes of the game, plus stoppage time. Fleetwood 0, Leicester City 0. Third round of the FA Cup in association with Emirates Airlines. Free kick to Leicester, midway inside the Fleetwood half. Okazaki is the man fouled. A little bit of a high foot there by Shawabo. Now then, is it going to be Chilwell or Gray? Will it be a floater or a shot? It's a bit too far out for a shot. It's something like 35 yards from goal, just to the left of centre here. Demarai Gray has got a good shot on him. It's Albrighton in fact that lifts the ball, and it's a poor free kick. And Neil under no great pressure. There was no Leicester player within a 10-yard radius of him as he took that ball. Just shows how poor and inaccurate a free kick that really was from Albrighton. But he has possession on the right hand side. Plays that in there, but again can't find Slimani. And Fleetwood now having a break here with Demantico, and a good tackle there. An absolutely superb tackle there by Banana. Really good tackle there by him. He almost put through the own goal earlier on in the first half, where Jakubovic had to scrabble back and dive like Stretch Armstrong to pull the ball away for a corner. But it could have so easily been a goal, an own goal for Fleetwood. 66 minutes gone. Fleetwood 0, Leicester 0, but it's a much better second half where Fleetwood have had much the better of the chances. Leicester have had probably a little bit more possession. Well, possession has actually been 50-50. So it shows how much Fleetwood have really gone and put hard work into the game. But here's a chance for Leicester across the back post, and Slimani hits another shot off target, this time an acute angle into the side netting. Goal kick to Fleetwood. Demarai Gray has probably been Leicester's best player by an absolute country mile here this afternoon. Whips in a perler of a cross. The goalkeeper can't reach it, but unfortunately for Leicester, Slimani would have had to have worked an absolute miracle to get that on target and into the back of the net. He was never going to get it on target, and the side netting was probably going to be his best option, to be fair. So goal kick to Leicester, to Fleetwood rather. Again looking towards Hunter that time. Header won back with interest by Bolger. 67 minutes gone. Coming up towards the halfway mark of the second half here. Third round FA Cup. Fleetwood against Leicester. No goals yet. Poor touch from Amati. Out of play for a Fleetwood throw. Or even a replay for Fleetwood would not be the end of the world, because it would mean more money for them, and the coffers and an opportunity of perhaps of being on television for a potential replay. And it's all about the money for Fleetwood, and this is the good thing about the FA Cup and what makes it such a special competition, that the small clubs can benefit from big cup runs, as Lincoln City and Sutton United benefited very strongly from terrific cup runs and got big scalps as well along the way. Free kick to Fleetwood. Both Sutton and Lincoln fell by the wayside in the very early rounds. In rounds 1 and 2 they were both out. Lincoln doing actually terrifically well in League 2, to be fair. Danny Carley absolutely performing heroics up at Sinsel Bank, and they've got to be strong favourites, as we see a second substitution here for Fleetwood. Burns is off and McKennie is on, sorry, I should say. So still 0-0. It's been a very hectic night for me, doing my day job all night and then getting 3 hours sleep to wake up and bring you this game. And I think the best we deserve, I think, is a goal or two in this game and make it worth it. But the second half has been good as far as entertainment value is concerned, much better. Michael Appleton is Claude Puel's assistant, has done really well there as an assistant. He's acted as caretaker manager on more than one occasion, Appleton. Former Oxford manager, of course. He presided over some big cup shocks in Oxford's recent history, of course. Remember the one especially against Swansea City, as Okazaki absolutely felled his man, which was Coyle. No bookings is yet shown by referee Simon Hooper. It's not been far from a dirty game, I have to say, but it has been played with great commitment and great enterprise by both. They've tried to play it the right way, both teams, but Fleetwood have certainly had the better of the chances, and you would expect that on their own patch. It's going to be uncomfortable for teams like Leicester coming to a ground like this when it's not a Premier League, when it's not going to be luxurious like a Premier League ground. That's not meaning any malice or disrespect to Fleetwood's facilities in any way, shape or form. And it's not, but that can also be a leveler. The FA Cup, where they go to like when Arsenal and Leeds went to Grandy Green Lane last year, they didn't enjoy it too much, although Arsenal won. Leeds certainly didn't enjoy their day on the 3G pitch, of course, and it was a game we covered as well. And the penalty after 53 minutes settled that particular contest that afternoon, and the Leeds went crashing out at round 4. And of course Arsenal went on to face both Sutton United in the 5th round and Lincoln, who conquered Burnley in the 5th round and themselves in the 6th round. Compared to both teams' brilliant cup runs. Now a chance here as the Hunter, or rather number 10 here, McAlhenney takes the ball in and wins a throw here. We're now into the last 20 minutes here. 0-0. Or Brighton for Leicester, get it forward. That should be Neil's and his. So Marnie didn't really put up any resistance to try and put him off. I have to say he's been frankly disappointed today, Somali. I've not been impressed with the way he's performed at all. And that is the way of the world. Here's Neil with the kick. Sliced it a little bit there, but it did carry halfway. But he will get a second opportunity now to hoist it long. He has to hoist it off the ground this time. Didn't get much purchase on that, but he found a Fleetwood Town man. And it will be a Leicester City throw. 18 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. No extra time and penalties in the early rounds of the Cup. Replays required to settle ties up until the 5th round, and then after that, from the quarterfinals onwards, it has to be settled on the day or night. Extra time, penalties. The other system is being used as well in the FA Cup, as has been in all the other major cup competitions. Certainly in the Carabao competition we've had a few ABBA type penalty shootouts, and we had one already in the FA Cup this season, a couple of them in the earlier rounds. Although I'm not a great advocate of the ABBA system, I prefer the old system. They're saying it's a real success as that cross comes in from the far side for Fleetwood. 73 minutes gone, still 0-0. Are we going to see a goal today? We've certainly been a much enjoyable second half. Here's Devante Cole, still 0-0. Fleetwood know a goal here give them something to defend if they can get the goal. Now then, Hunter, who switched flanks for the time being, wins a corner off Chilwell. This is the moment. Is this the moment for Fleetwood Town to strike when it matters most? Well, it's a corner then. Bolger and Pond both forward from the back. I think Bolger's been very much a threat in the air as that ball comes in towards him. And a foul has been given and a free kick. It is to Leicester City. Quarter of an hour to go. Apologies there for the loss of sound, but there was a chance a real opportunity there for Leicester City. A minute to a goal, and there's a foul here on Dragovic. I think it's by Hunter. This game really building up to a real crescendo now. One chance now for either of these two teams, and it could mean curtains for the other. This is how finely balanced this cup tie really is. In fact, it was Dempsey on Dragovic. So a free kick, no yellow card shown. Simon Hooper is doing very reluctant to show yellow cards to the players because he knows it's a committed game. They know it's going to be a game full of nutrition and a real battle out there, and it certainly has been for 76 minutes or so we've been playing. Fleetwood 0, Leicester City 0. Third round FA Cup in association with Emirates. Now then, Fleetwood in the red and white shirts come forward with Devante Cole, but it's blocked by Somani. Then there's a few flying tackles in there. Fleetwood get the decision. It's a free kick. There's going to be a few more chances now in the last quarter of an hour or so, plus stoppage time. Still no shot really on target for Claude Puel's side, although they are starting to threaten a little bit. They are starting to stir a little bit with Okazaki on the field. Both teams have one change left in their armoury. At the moment it looks like it's going to be a goalless draw and a replay at the King Power Stadium. Throw to Fleetwood deep inside their own territory. And this is not the end of the FA Cup coverage this weekend, because tomorrow evening or Monday, on early Monday, we'll be bringing you full delayed commentary of the match tomorrow between Nottingham Forest and holders Arsenal from the City ground. So the FA Cup commentaries are not over yet for this weekend. And of course we'll bring you news of the draw, we'll bring you delayed coverage of the draw, and of course we'll be with you for the fourth round, of course. Well, at least a live game from the fourth round, and of course every round hopefully of the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup comes up in midweek. We'll have the Wednesday match between Chelsea and Arsenal for you live, and then we'll have hopefully the second leg between Bristol City and Man City in a couple of weeks time. But Bristol City, what a remarkable season they're having at the moment under Lee Johnson, third in the Championship, and now Carabao semi-finalists. We knocked out Mourinho's Manchester United, who beat Derby yesterday 2-0, as you heard during the half-time interval here at Highbury. Here's Hunter. Showed too much of that to Gray on the far side. Gray comes away down the Leicester left, looking to find Somani. Somani's just been rather pedestrian today. I've not really been impressed. I've seen nothing really in the way of work rate or the way he's got about it. It's just, I just feel there's so much that Somani could offer, and I just don't think he works hard enough for the cause. And you can understand why he's not a regular starter. And Leicester, let's be fair, they've missed the likes of Jamie Vardy and that, but I just can't see. I just can't see Leicester scoring today. If truth be told, I just cannot see Leicester scoring. I think the more likely scorers, I have to say, are Fleetwood. They've certainly been a real threat, if you see what I mean. But Leicester about to make a change. And Somani, I'm not surprised he's come off now. Is it Kichi Iheanacho's day? The former Man City man who had scored in the FA Cup before. He got a hat-trick against Aston Villa a couple of years ago in I think round 3 at Villa Park. He comes on, and now Leicester are out of substitutions. They can't play any more jokers in the pack. Fleetwood, however, have a change still up their sleeve, and they have a throw on halfway on the far side by the two benches here at Highbury. And what about that from Hunter towards the byline, playing a hooky back across, and a corner has been given. And they had plenty of corners. 10 minutes to play. Is there a goal in it for Fleetwood? They have really threatened from set plays, and you've got to say Hunter has been at the hub of all the good things that Fleetwood have done today. He's really shown himself He's done himself justice on the day, I think, and wouldn't it be just great if Fleetwood could get their noses in front inside the last 10 minutes. Here comes the corner, in towards Pond, Boucher's there, but he can't direct it. Here's Hunter. He'll have to try and cross it back. He uses Bell. Bell will cross it in first time. Jakubovic decided to, was in two man's whether to stay or go. In the end, Leicester scramble it away and hook it high up the field, but Fleetwood win it back, or header it back with interest. It's out of play though. Again, I thought Boji's a real threat from set plays, this kid. I've been impressed with him as an attacker as well as a defender. They've defended really well, Fleetwood. They've not given Leicester too much of a sniff. Now then, here's a chance for Cole. Cole, she looked as if he was fouled from behind. The referee playing on. This is a good game now. Just needs a goal. Are Fleetwood going to get it? Hunter with a low cross this time. Turned away. But it's still Leicester on the defensive here. Is there a goal in it for Fleetwood? Not this time. It will be a throw level with the penalty area of Leicester on the far side. Chilwell just hacking it away as far as he can up the field. Banayone with a good tackle there. In there as well. 81 minutes have been played. We're almost into the 82nd minute, in fact. Coyle. Can he take... Well, he's not going to throw it low. He's gone short. Coyle again. Oh, he did well. Lovely skill towards the byline. And another corner to Fleetwood. That's their 9th of the game. Is it 9th time lucky for Fleetwood Town Football Club? They have certainly done their team proud. The Con Army are proud of them. Whatever happens today, they've really given it a good goal. And wouldn't it just be brilliant if they were to score now? Bolger has looked an absolute colossus from set plays. Another corner, and Bolger again winning the header, but again just off target, way off target, and it's into the Con Army for a goal kick. Oh, another incisive corner. They're having their chances here, Fleetwood. And Bolger again climbing up, and you can tell people like Iheanacho are just not up for this at all. I think there's a goal in this for Fleetwood. I've got a sneaky suspicion they may well nick a goal towards the end, and do you know what, if they get it, they've deserved it. I think they've certainly been the better team. Referee Hooper gives a free kick to Fleetwood. This is why the TV cameras turn up for cup times like this, to see the middle hopefully turn David overturn Goliath. This is what we love about the FA Cup. This is why it's the greatest cup competition in the world. Bigger than Premier League, bigger than Champions League. You don't get competitions like this anywhere else in the world, and that's why it's the most special special competition, the FA Cup. Meanwhile, Okazaki's been fouled, and it's a free kick to Leicester. We've got about 6 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. I think there may be at least another good 3 or 4 minutes of that. I have no doubts. Devante Cole tussling over on that far side. Leicester concede the throw. We've now just got over 6 minutes left to play. In fact, we've got 6 minutes to play exactly. Still 0-0. Fleetwood pushing for this late winning goal here. And I tell you what, if they could just get it, the roof would lift off Highbury Stadium, and we would see the first shock of round 3 of this year's FA Cup. There may be shocks to come in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Another free kick to Fleetwood. Cole fouled. This could be the moment. Free kick in a very dangerous position, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Silly challenge, really. Absolutely no need for Andy King to make that sort of challenge. 5.5 minutes to go. Fleetwood, if they could just pinch a goal here, get their noses in front, give them something to defend here, we could be in for some finish. Bolger again. You can take off Betsim not coming up from the, you can take Betsim coming from the back, because he'll go forward for everything now. Here's Hunter's free kick. It's a dangerous one, but no one gambled inside the 6-yard box, and it's out of play behind for a goal kick. It's a good free kick though from Hunter. We really fizzed in from the right hand side, but just nobody gambling or able to gamble inside the 6-yard box, and in the end the chance has gone. Well, the first half largely forgettable. Second half has been, that's a poor kick as well, and he's got away with it, Jakubovic, because it came off the Fleetwood player last and he tried to keep it in. Hunter, I think Hunter's, as regards the JB man of the match, I'm going to give it to Hunter. I think he's had a marvellous game. I think his work rate down the right hand side has been unbelievably good. We've not seen much of Devante Cole. He's conceded a throw. We've got 4 minutes to go in this FA Cup third round in association with Emirates. Fleetwood 0 and Leicester City 0, and its second half has been a completely different half to what we saw in the first. Marcus Schrebel, who's got the television man of the match, I have to say I think he's been a bit quiet. Apart from the 2 chances he had, I think he's been quite quiet. I don't understand why Kevin Kilban has decided to give him man of the match. I think Hunter should have got the award, but he certainly got our award. So Hunter gets the award for our man of the match, chosen by myself. But there's still time yet for something remarkable to still happen. Jamie Vardy's still there. Rebecca Vardy's still there. She looks well off that stint in the jungle towards the back end of last year, making headlines for obviously the wrong reasons, although the newspapers can report anything out of character. Tried to cast her as a bully in the jungle, but I don't think she's the sort of person to be bullying people about. Meanwhile, back out the jungle, we've got Fleetwood trying to look it forward, and the flag has gone up for offside. And he's got divided the loyalties, Jamie Vardy, that's for sure. They certainly missed him today, Leicester City, there's no doubt about that. But they haven't been at their best, Leicester, and Corporal knows it. The look on his face tells a thousand words, really. It really does. And well, I've got to say, I think he'd be happier out the 2 managers if it was to end the draw, because I think Uwe Rosler will feel that they should be winning this tie, really, Fleetwood. 2 minutes to play. Free kick taken by Neil. Again, a game of head tennis midway inside the Leicester half. Chilwell will hook it out. Ball still in play. Now Dempsey tries to win it there for Fleetwood. It's been a really rip-roaring cup tie, this, played in a terrific spirit. And I have to say the referee has done really well to keep his cards in his pocket. So fair play to Simon Hooper. And it's a very rare thing you actually see me praise a referee. I think some of the decisions he's had to make have been the correct decisions, and this is another correct decision, because as you can see there, that's a definite foul there on Hunter. Now another set play. We're now less than 90 seconds away from the end of the 90. Here comes the free kick, aimed from the right hand side. It's a poor one, and in the end Leicester just had enough time to clear it away. Pond knocks it back though with interest. Now the ball's been kept in, and now a chance for McElhenney. Good play here. Now then, Dempsey. McElhenney again. Can he get the shot up? McElhenney's shot deflected. Will it go for a corner? No. The goalkeeper will get hold of that one, and we'll keep the ball in play. We're inside the 40 seconds. Last 40 seconds now of the allotted 90 minutes. Now it'll be up to the 4th official to show us how long is to go. And as it says there on the advertising boarding, nothing is certain. It still might be a last minute drama, might happen in stoppage time. So many cup ties have been won and lost in time added on. Remember Lincoln City last year at Turf Moor. It looked like it was going to be a replay at Sinsel Bank, and then Sean Raggett came up in the first minute of stoppage time to sink the Clarets and break a lot of Burnley hearts with it, myself included. But that's the beauty and the passion of the FA Cup, what it brings, and the drama and the endeavour it brings. And here is a chance now for McElhenney. Oh, he's done terrifically well, but he's fouled his man, and it's a free kick. And we're only going to have 2 added minutes, I'm afraid. Which I don't understand where he's got 2 minutes from. Mind you, it has been a 3-4 second half, but there has been quite a number of fouls. I would have said 3, maybe 4 minutes, but to be quite honest, I secretly want Fleetwood to get through. But he may have a second goal here. But I don't think Andy Pilley will be too disappointed if it does end a draw, though. From a footballing side, Uwe Rosler will be disappointed they haven't won the tie today. But here's the defensive goal. They might win it here. Hunter takes it down. He's got a man on the overlap here. And Hunter just took too long. Still Hunter now. Can he get his shot off? Deflected. Oh, has it gone in? No, it hasn't. Jakubovic has just about got away with it and he's fielded the ball. I think he's taken a clout off the post. I thought that had just nicked in here. Hunter got his shot off. He takes the deflection. It's going off. It's hit the post. And for one moment, it looked as if we were going to get that winning goal here. And it would have been a cruel one on Leicester, but if it had gone in, Fleetwood would have more than merited it. Hunter has absolutely performed above and beyond, almost getting a deserved reward. And it looks as if Leicester are going to escape with a goalless draw and a replay, unless O'Brighton can send a good cross in here from the right hand side. This would be cruel justice on Fleetwood. And they played some terrific stuff today, the COD Army. Here's O'Brighton. Last 10 seconds of time added on. This will be the last play. O'Brighton sends it in. Neil takes it comfortably, and that was a good clean catch, and that should be that as far as the game is concerned. And there goes the final whistle from Simon Hooper, who I've got to say had a terrific game as the referee. Well, Leicester will feel absolutely relieved, but the COD Army, the guys from Fleetwood, stand up. You've done your team and your town absolutely proud today. Topped the game to Leicester in the second half. They were a much more bolder side. Leicester offered next to nothing as an attacking force. I wasn't overly impressed with them. They did badly miss the likes of Mahrez and Vardy. But Fleetwood Town, they are delighted, and it means a trip to the King Power and maybe more money as well. We'll try and get some reaction at the end of it was a stirring cup tie, no goals to bring you, but in terms of drama and endeavour, we certainly had plenty of that in the second half. First half was largely forgettable, but the second half really livened up as a terrific cup tie. It really did, and how close was Hunter right at the end there for hitting the post. We'll try and get some reaction before we go. It's 2:30. We're going to leave you at about 3 o'clock. But what a game, and they can be proud of their efforts. We'll try and get one or two of the Fleetwood boys here, trying to hear from Uwe Rosler and Claude Perel before we leave you. But Bolger, I thought, had a good game. He was certainly a threat at set plays. On another day, he may have had himself a goal as well. But Andy Pilley will be on that cruise ship now, rubbing his hands with glee, because he knows he could be in for a massive payday, as the replay now will go to the King Power in a week and a half's time. And it's been a great performance, a brave performance really. Leicester just didn't fancy it today, and they'll thank their lucky stars really that they've come out really and got away with a replay back at their place. And really on another day, Fleetwood would have gone through, and it would have been cruel justice if they lost today, Fleetwood. But they were the better side, they were the more enterprising side. They really gave it a good go. A terrific second half. That's a proper FA Cup tie. No goals, but as I say, a real epic proper FA Cup tie. And you've got to say, the players are getting the adulation they deserve from the home fans. Leicester will feel very fortunate that they got a replay here out of this. Ashley Hunter had a terrific game, and he gets the JB man of the match because his work rate in industry was just superb. Ashley Hunter, he really was. He ran the show. Leicester could have conceded 2 own goals themselves in the game. Both would have been debited to the same player as well, but an Audi as well. But having said that, though, Ashley Hunter this is the opportunity we just seen at the end here. Looks as if the chance has gone. There's the overlap, and then he just turns Andy King inside out, gets his shot away with the right foot, gets a deflection, it hits the post, and somehow Jakubovic, on another day, that could have bounced off the goalkeeper and gone in the net. And that was just a little bit of luck that wasn't there for Fleetwood today, but they deserved that luck, and they were very, very unfortunate. But they can be proud. They didn't let anybody down whatsoever. A real blood and thunder cup tie, it really was. But unfortunately no goals. But the second half, it really was a terrific watch and a terrific game of football. And there will not be too many disappointed people that are leaving the stadium today, because they've seen some marvellous attacking play from Fleetwood. They were the team with the more intent to score. Bolger was an absolute colossus. And when Nathan Pod came on in the 15th minute, he had a super game as well. And he's a club icon as well, you've got to say. On another day, Bolger with those 3 headers would have taken those chances on offer. But really, Fleetwood could really feel very proud of themselves. There's a banner to my left saying Nathan Podney, captain, leader and legend. He's an icon. Anyway, let's get some reaction from Fleetwood Town. Let's get some reaction, shall we? Yep.
I have to say,
Marcus Shaw.
very well today. Everyone tried to come to its maximum, and we were digging deep. And I think with a bit of more luck, the last minute maybe we could have won the game. But I think we're happy with the draw, and we go again like next game.
So you have a replay. Do you believe? Have you shown enough today to believe in yourselves? You can make it through?
I think if we not believe in ourselves, we won't go there. So if we go to Leicester, or especially me, I go there if I don't want to win, because if not, Connor can stay at home. But so now I think there's a chance, but they are like favourites, and we need a perfect day there.
Any disappointment you didn't get the job done today?
Yeah, if it was the last chance, so a bit of disappointment, but I think in the end, under the line, it was a great performance of us, and against a very strong side, and so we came happy today.
Well done today.
Yes, cheers.
He also got the Television Man of the Match award, but Ashley Hunter gets the JV Man of the Match award, and I have to say, quite rightly so, on the display he put up today. But as he said, they're very disappointing, and really Leicester did not offer anything at all. Their attacking intent was just awful. The set plays were awful. I have to say they are very, very lucky to get a second chance at all, because I thought their work rate, the only person that really stood up to me was Damari Gray, and I have to say he looked their more liveliest attacker. But apart from that, they honestly and at heart, they've missed Jamie Vardy, they've missed Mahrez as well. It just wasn't the display, and I hope Claude Puel is giving them the riot act in that dressing room, because I mean, if you're a Leicester fan, you can think yourself very, very lucky that you're getting a replay, because they were second best. Fleetwood were just miles ahead in terms of opportunities and chances, and they certainly had the lion's share of possession. There is little or no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, that's the way football can be sometimes, I suppose. But that's the way it is. But a terrific. I thought it was a terrific game. Second half, it got much better as the second half went on, I felt. But as we all know, it just wasn't to be. Uwe Rosler is speaking to BBC TV. Let's join Dan Walker, who's speaking to Uwe Rosler.
How happy are you with that result, 0-0, or would you have loved to get it done in the 90 minutes?
I would prefer so.
No, I think Leicester 8 in the Premier League, so strong team, had a strong team out there, but I think we truly deserved the draw. I think we could have won it. We played to the conditions. You see, the longer the game went, the pitch got cut up. Our young players, and we have a lot of them, They shown a lot of ability today, but also game acknowledgement. We took them right to the wire, and unfortunately we didn't want it.
Uwe, do you think today was your biggest opportunity to get through to the next round?
You ask my chairman, I think he's delighted with every replay.
For those who don't know, he's on a cruise and he can't get back here, so hopefully he'll be back for the replay, won't he?
He'll be definitely back for the replay, but I think for us, as I said it before, last year in the third round we had a replay against Bristol City, and you know how good they are this year, and it was a great experience for us. Now we're seeing that as experience. We are developing young players, and every game against opposition like that in a stadium like Leicester City Stadium, that gives us a massive experience, and we will benefit from that.
And you're talking about your young players. Impressive performance by Hunter today. How impressive have you been with him over the course of the season?
I think Ashley is like a lot of young players in that age, a little bit up and down. I think we know exactly what he can do when he's hitting top form, when he plays to his ability, and today that was very, very good stand-up from him. I think the vertical was a handful again, and I would highlight the whole team. I think we did a pressing from the front, and when we go about our business like we did, I think any opposition will have a problem.
And that was the Fleetwood manager. We have to cut the interview short, but the other two people asking questions were Mark Swartz, a former Leicester goalkeeper, and Jill Scott, former England international. The COD Army there making a lot of noise throughout the game. They made the game a real atmospheric game. But no goals, but we go again. But they go again, Fleetwood. And as Uwe Rosler said, the chairman will be absolutely cock-a-hoop that he's going to have a replay back at the KP Stadium. And more money surely going into coppers, and it might just help them buy another extra player. But they came so mighty close at the end to winning the game. A terrific performance. They really put up a great show, and there we go. And again, we'll have to go back to the guys because Nathan Pond is ready. Let's hear from him now.
With a big smile on his face. I know you didn't start the game, but how do you think your team finished it?
I thought we finished the stronger team, to be honest. Put them under a lot of pressure, got a lot of corners. The one at the end, everyone's heart in the mouth, thought it was going to go in, but he had a bit of luck there. But I thought overall we played well and gave a good account of ourselves.
And for those who didn't see before the game, we're talking about the fact that you're a world record holder. You've played in 7 divisions, you've been through all those 6 promotions with one side, and here you are taking on a top division side for the first time in the club's history, and you've got a replay and a chance to, well, you're in the 4th round draw and a chance to make it through.
Yeah, obviously when the draw comes, you do want to, being a League One player, you want to play at the Premier League Stadium, so obviously we've got the home tie, it's good for the local fans, but they've got a chance to go to the King Power Premier League Stadium. I don't think any of our players would have played there in their career, so it's a good opportunity for us, and everyone's looking forward to it.
Was it as easy today as it looked for us? You looked very comfortable at the back there, you looked under control, you know, really very rarely threatened.
I tried to make it look easy, but it definitely wasn't easy.
Well, you did a good job of doing that today.
Thank you.
Alex, do you have a question as well?
No, just off Mark, because all the play was in front of you. When you thought you was coming up against a Premier League side today, you think you might have been running behind, but it didn't seem that way today.
Yeah, usually, obviously, the standard we play, there's a lot of channel balls, so you face your goalkeeper a lot more often than you'd like. But today, Leicester, obviously, a good passing side. They kept the ball, like you said, most of it was in front of us. A few channel balls, but they overhit most of them, so it was a comfortable evening in the end.
And Nathan, with Jamie Vardy in the tunnel before the game, how disappointed is he not to be playing here today against his old club?
Yeah, he said his knees are fitness. It's very disappointing not to be here, but he's got another chance now, hasn't he? So I'm sure he'll be fit for the replay.
Yeah, we built it up as the Vardy derby, so maybe he'll get a chance in the second leg.
Yeah,
the replay.
He's sporting then, so he needs fitness, like he said. So by the time the second leg comes around, I'm sure he'll be putting the number 9 shirt on for Leicester.
Nathan Pond, a real club legend, and speaking very highly about Jamie Vardy, who didn't feature today, but I tell you what, that's it from us. A real cracking cup tie. It failed to ignite in the first half. It was a bit shot shy. It wasn't particularly brilliant, but at the end of the day, let's get some team news as well. No, we're not going to get team news, but at the end of the day, great performance. Burnley would deserve at least a replay, should have won the game, but it's Leicester who escape with a 0-0 draw and a second opportunity at the King Power Stadium. More cup football to come over the weekend. Nottingham Forest and Arsenal will be our featured delayed match this weekend. But from me, JB, on a day where Fleetwood came so mighty close to a great FA Cup shock. A post away. They get a replay. Leicester get lucky. Bye bye.